JF, Stretford, Paddock, Roma 3, Manchester United 2, 8-5 on aggregate.
Yes.
Yeah, I can do this. Manchester United through to a final, the Europa League final, the most important European competition, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. This is a live review. That's Joe Smith. Get involved in the comments. Give us a like. Give us a share. Give us a subscribe.
Yes.
We're going to Gdansk, although we're not, but
We might be.
We might be. You never know if you can quarantine for whatever you've got to do.
Possible.
And you're one of the 1 out of 10,000 tickets that they give away. But happy days. The semi-final curse is over, my good friend.
The curse is lifted. United just won 3-2 to Roma, which...
1-3-2.
We did. That's the thing, though. I know we didn't, but we did.
Right,
Man United won that game.
That, by the way, we're going to get into the game as well. Get involved in the comments. We'll go through it like in some sort of, chronological order. But that was, in parts, some of the worst football I've ever seen Manchester United play. In my entire life as a Manchester United fan.
Yeah, I know we lost, but we did win that game. Because it's all one game, isn't it? It's all a bigger picture. It's the big picture.
You're looking at it as a pie. You're not looking through the prism of and you've got to look at the whole pie.
Of a larger pie. You're looking at it as a slice.
Yeah. No, forget the pies.
Forget the slices. Forget the pies. Man United won 3-2 to Roma. Cavani, excellent.
I love it.
Bruno, excellent.
Do you know when
David De Gea, excellent.
With Vincent Cavani, it's like, new deal, yes. Just get him fucking signed, man. Whatever it takes. Yeah, sorry, go on, I interrupted you.
No, I just think that, David De Gea deserves a lot of credit. He kept it to the point where we didn't really have to worry about Roma too much. There was
Does he start in Gdansk? There's a question.
I think he will, yeah. I don't think that there's much of a question there. Obviously, it's worth speaking about. It's worth, bringing people in what people think will happen in terms of a goalkeeper. But he's our second choice goalkeeper. He's our cup goalkeeper. Yeah. We're in a cup game. He will play in
he
Gdansk.
Certainly almost did tonight. I thought it was just a foregone conclusion that United would be through.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for David De Gea being mint, that might have even been slightly interesting, shall we say, because they had a lot of chances and a lot of shots that, should have been goals. Yeah. Were it not for amazing reflexes.
Yeah, great reflexes, good position. A few of them just sort of hit him, but, you've got to be in the right position for them to hit you. We could have given away a penalty. I thought the one on Maguire, you couldn't have argued too much if you'd have given that because he flicked it into his hand when he's sort of flailing his arms in the air. But De Gea just looked like 2017 David De Gea. He looked like prime David De Gea. He's always in the right position. Reflexes just superb the whole game. And again, the game wasn't close, really. I know that the game was close. We lost the game, but the tie was never in doubt. But that was in no small part due to David De Gea because they had shitting loads of chances. If they'd have scored half of their chances, this game would have been 5-2 tonight.
There was one point where I think there was 20 minutes to go and they were like 3 goals behind or whatever, and they had a chance where they should have scored. I think it was one where it rattled between his legs. Yeah. And you think, if that goes in with 20 minutes to go, you need 2 goals. That's doable. Do you know what I mean? And the way United were playing, we made a couple of substitutions, didn't we? The fullbacks changed. Was it Brandon and Tellers came on for Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw? And, I'm a big fan of Brandon Williams, and I think Alex Tellers is all right. He's decent. But they just weren't at the races at all when he came on with her.
No, and I think on top of that, in fairness, I think Maguire and Eric Bailly were doing a lot of ball watching in the middle of the pitch.
And Fred was one moment. Fred was trying to do
Fred gave
tricks,
that second goal away, didn't he?
Which was just the most Fred thing ever.
Yeah, it was sloppy. It was, but in a way, I'm not glad that it was sloppy. But I'm not going to criticise the players too much for being sloppy because this is a team that is trying to play at 30% to finish this game out. Let's not get in any injuries. Yeah. Let's not get suspended. Let's not hurt anything. We've got 3 more games coming up between now and next Thursday. Let's not empty the tanks here. So I don't begrudge them for looking shit, looking like they couldn't be arsed, walking when they should have been jogging when they should have been sprinting, because they've got to save themselves for, a ludicrous run of fixtures this week, which, I'm not going to criticise the reasons why those fixtures are the way they are, but it's tough for the players to play that many games. So I don't mind that. Well, yeah, we're in the first gear for most of the game, but of course we're in first gear for most of the game. That's fine.
The thing is as well, we're through to the final, so we don't want to be too negative, but we have got to talk about the game and what went down with it. You can't just ignore it. I think one thing we've always argued about Manchester United, and this Manchester United team in particular, is in terms of an 11, I think we've got a very good 11. Yeah. But you see now, with some of the results we've had, like beating Paris, beating Leipzig, hammering Leipzig, beating City,
consistently over the last couple of years as well.
We've had some good results against very good teams. Like when we've got a near enough full strength team. I fancy us almost against anyone if we all turn up. It's only if, we have a bad day at the office, whatever. But when you start taking out one or two players from this team, that's when the cracks start to appear. That's why we've not really had the title challenge we wanted, because when we lose a Paul Pogba or we lose a Bruno's out for a bit, or Martial or whatever, or one of the players is out for a little while, we don't have that squad like other teams do when they bring in players, and it's just
We've got kind of like 14 good players.
I'd agree with that. I think, we're not. It's not like we lose one player, we're in trouble, but you take 2 or 3 out, and then all of a sudden you start to notice it. And there's an element of that tonight where you take out 3 or 4 players, and we're not quite the same team at all. Roma obviously had nothing to lose, which sort of meant they're just going for it. They've got players who are on the day, have still got something to offer. Mkhitaryan can still offer you something. Zeko obviously can still offer you something. And they managed to get back in that game, get a couple of goals, and it's like, hang on a minute, this could be one of them nights. But thankfully, with that 4-goal cushion, and like you saying, with David De Gea playing the way he is, and also Edinson Cavani, because how good was he tonight? Yeah,
brilliant. I think he's the most obviously Zlatan Ibrahimovic is a great number 9 and has been one of the best alongside Cavani over the last decade or two. But I think in terms of like traditional number 9, his movement, because Zlatan makes good movement, but he's not as sort of relentless as Cavani is in terms of his movement. He times his runs perfectly and makes them. But Cavani's like, I'll make a run. Okay, loop back round, make another one. Loop back round, make another run. And he's just brilliant, and he's so hard to deal with, especially when, no offence to Chris Smalling, but their centre-back pairing isn't particularly good. We got spaces. He was left alone in there a few times. Like, the one that hit the top of the crossbar. He got 2 goals. He could have had a hat-trick today. Bruno with some fantastic deliveries. The cross for that second goal was brilliant by Bruno, who should have had 3 assists. He should have had the one to Greenwood. I think it was the one to Bruno as well, to Cavani before that as well, that he should have had. But United could have scored half a dozen goals as well. We had plenty of big chances. But Cavani was just brilliant. And, it was the difference between it being edgy and it kind of being all right.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I was surprised with the Mason one. I thought he would have buried that. I'm not too harsh on the lad. Just with usually with those sorts of chances, you expect Mason to put them away. Also, the first one with Cavani, when he did that little sort of side foot onto the roof of the net, I was like, what are you doing there? Just stick that away, man. Do you know what I mean?
And then the second one where he hits it straight at the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on? But like you were saying, Roma are so fragile at the back. You're always going to get chances, even if United are at 80% and they've got 1 or 2 players, 3 or 4 players by the end of it, rested. The loss on the night doesn't really matter because you're still going through by 3 goals. Do you know what I mean? So it's you're through to a European final, you're through to the Europa League final. Ollie's got rid of that monkey on his back, that sort of thing of like, he keeps losing semi-finals. This was his 5th attempt and he's finally got there. And now, we know we're going to face Villarreal, who, over the 2 legs over Arsenal, have done the job, haven't they?
Can I tell you, I want to, at some point, get into taking the piss out of Arsenal.
100%.
Can I tell you how relieved I am that we aren't playing Arsenal in the final?
Oh, mate,
I am. My body will be disappointed, will be really, down, hurt, upset if we lose to Villarreal.
Yeah.
I would have been crushed if we'd lost to Arsenal. Because all of a sudden it takes it's the Europa League, the highs are only so high if you win it, the lows are only so low if you don't. It would have elevated that to it might as well be the fucking Champions League final. Yeah. Because it would have been a nightmare for our actual daily lives. Everyone who watches us, everyone who uses social media, everyone who, Arsenal have such a big presence on
And it would have started tonight.
On Reddit,
it would have started tonight.
It would have been the next 3 weeks would have been hell.
Is that
and then we would have lost them, and you would have been seeing the memes, people screaming down cameras. It would have been too much to bear.
All the shit would have started tonight.
Yeah.
And all the trash talk.
And it wouldn't have even been worth winning against them.
It's just like all the drivel would have started. And do you know what I mean? With all this shite, you would have had to listen. All the media would have bought into it as well. So you would have had all these numpties on the telly giving it all the big one as well. And it would have gone on and on. And if we'd have lost, that would be it forever. You're always going to hear about it as like the time when we did this.
Until we beat them in a cup final, we'd hear about this all the time.
And it's like, I'd rather not have that headache. Villarreal, obviously a good team, but a team we can and should be beating because I was watching, we sort of had both games on upstairs. We had the United game and obviously we had for the last 10 minutes, we just stuck Villarreal on in the background to see what was going down. And there's quite a few players there from Villarreal, like is it Coquelin and Marino, who used to be in the Premier League years ago, and it's just like, Forgot about them.
Yeah, I think they've got some good players. They're a decent team. They're not as good as Arsenal. I mean, let me phrase that another way. They have a lower chance of beating us than Arsenal do.
That makes sense.
Because for some reason, Ole can't beat Arsenal. I think he's beaten them once, and that was in the FA Cup.
Yeah, he has
when he first took over, or not first took over, but earlier when he took over. Other than that, he's never beaten him in the league. So we're playing against
which
literally
is weird
our biggest
they're
bogey
11th,
team.
aren't they?
The shit.
Yeah, and like we're second, and we've beaten pretty much everyone in the league, by 1 or 2. And yet with Arsenal, he's just got this like you say, and it's like there's been some of our worst performances as well under Ole have come against Arsenal. The one at the Emirates, I think it was last season in the league. The one at Old Trafford this season, where it was like, well, both teams were shit, but we were slightly shitter, and we were still shit.
Yeah.
And even the 0-0 draw at the Emirates was this time round was pretty poor. So it is a bit weird. I can see your screen line up there if you want to go through.
Yeah, we've got a few super chats.
So I'll let you go on. I'll let you read them out, mate.
Emil K says, I think winning the Europa League is actually more impressive than the FA Cup. More prize money. Pot 1 in the Champions League. I want to come back to that, actually. So we will come back to that because that's something I want to talk about. But we'll get through some of these first. Abhishek Paddy, that was a complacent second half, to say the least. Defence was all over the place. Glad we broke the semi-final Blues. Final against Mr. Europa League himself. That's another point I want to come back to. David Hayes' organisation of defence is not as good as Henderson's. Could be why Roma had so many shots. Poor position for the second. Meg for the third. Need to chill. Maybe. I think he was good today, De Gea. I think
I'm not throwing too much shade at him today.
Alpha Omega said, go for a 70 million centre mid and a Sancho. No strikers needed. Haaland way expensive and might have peaked. Interesting take on Haaland. Let's find the new Cantona. I do agree with the first half of that, though. 70 mils centre mid and Sancho. No strikers needed if we keep Cavani.
I love that. That might be my favourite comment ever. Yeah. Haaland, shit, mate, he's past it.
He's peaked. 2 points then. Let's first of all go back to Abhishek's there. A final against Mr. Europa League himself. I'm not sure if it's 2 or 3 that he won with Sevilla.
I'm sure producer Cameron's about to shout down our ears and tell us.
We'll let you know. But he has form in the Europa League.
Yes.
Like Villarreal aren't the best team. They weren't the best Spanish team in this tournament. And yet they're in the final. And I would put a large part of that down to Emery. Does the fact that he's there play some sort of X factor for them? Because he does have great experience, and we'll look up exactly what his record is. He won 3, according to Aditya in the comments. So he's one of the best Europa League managers of all time. Yeah,
we saw that last season. I know it was a different manager and whatnot, but like when you get teams that are good in it, like Sevilla, it can seem they just down. They just keep winning it, and like honestly, obviously with Emery, he's got that good record. So you have to be wary of that because it's something to respect.
Yeah.
But I still feel that this Manchester United team is just far better than that Villarreal team.
Another interesting point, 3 wins, and then he was in the final with Arsenal, and now he's in the final again with Villarreal. Pretty sensational record, that.
So it is sensational, but he lost that final with Arsenal, to Chelsea. So he's not infallible in this competition.
He's not.
So we can take a little bit of comfort from
do you want to know something else? People
Go
going on about Pep Guardiola. Always won 12 in 12 of his finals. Oh, Jose Mourinho's won 12 out of 14 finals. Ole has won 100% of the finals he's played in as a manager.
Right.
So...
Let's put it in perspective then. Who's got the better record?
You tell me, because Jose has lost finals.
And Ole's never lost a final.
Yeah, and how many has he played in? 1. But that's as 100%. What's your loss percentage in finals?
Yeah, everyone
0.
loves percent. That's like that graphic you see when Spurs played City and they put the records up against Ryan Mason and Pep Guardiola. It was Pep Guardiola like 700 in games or whatever and won like 690 of them, whatever. And then it was like Ryan Mason like played 2.
Including today. Which is sensational. Let's talk a bit about this other point as well from Emil. He thinks that winning the Europa League is more impressive than winning the FA Cup, which not necessarily impressive, but it's not. I would rather win the FA Cup. I just prefer it.
The prestige is there with the FA Cup.
The prestige is there.
It's like, it's the FA Cup. It's like your memories and everything of, and Wembley and all that sort of stuff.
But more prize money. Pot 1. Excuse me, the Champions League. That's a big point. For anyone who doesn't know,
go on, explain this to me because I'd forgotten about this.
The way the draw is done in the Champions League is each group, when they're drawn out, is comprised of a team from one of 4 different pots. So you get a pot 1 team, which is in theory the best teams in Europe. Then you get a pot 2 team, a pot 3 team, and a pot 4 team in each group. That's why you don't have Real Madrid, Man United, Bayern Munich and Man City. Well, that's different because it's the team, but you know what I mean. That's why you don't have all the best teams in one group.
So you won't have the group of death like we had in '99 anymore.
Yeah, or like last season when we got Leipzig, PSG. I mean, Istanbul's a different matter, but that means that now we probably won't get another one of the champions in Europe this season. Well, so, we won't get Bayern Munich, for instance, presumably. I would guess PSG are pot 1 too. I would guess Real Madrid will be pot 1. We'll probably avoid all of those teams, which means we're more likely to qualify from the group this season, which is a big thing if we do win the final, that is.
Yeah, I mean, that is a positive. I mean, you can still be wary because you don't know how these things pan out. Like, you don't know what goes on in La Liga, for example. Say Barcelona lose the league by a point to Atletico.
Yeah.
Does that mean that Barcelona go into the potential pot that we can be in?
Yeah.
So, and there's paper thin margins between how good they are and how good Atletico are. If PSG fuck up the French league, which could happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Does that mean that they can? So I get where you're coming from. It's always better to have the more likely that you're going to play the sort of the Atalantas of this world rather than the Inter Milans.
Yeah.
But
this season, you might get PSG, Juve, and Barcelona.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's tough, isn't it?
So it's like you have to sort of weigh it up and see what you have. I mean, I think for us personally, I think that Champions League experience is going to count for something. I think last season we hadn't been in it for a little while. Like some of the players, it was like their first time in it. We got complacent against Istanbul, where it was like, oh, we're almost there now. And then, oh, well, we only need 1 point from the last 2 games. That'll be a done, and we just fucked it royally up. I think we can learn from that, build on that. If Edison sticks around as well, that's going to help us. Also, Paul Labille stays around as well, and we bring in 1 or 2 signings. I think we've been much better equipped to go in the Champions League this season than we were last season.
Yeah, we do have a quote from Harry Maguire, I believe. To bring it says here, now we've got to go to the final and win it. Edinson scored 2 great goals, and his movement and work rate without the ball is excellent. What we were mentioning before there about his work rate, isn't it? But this semi-final thing, this semi-final curse, whatever it was, people like to throw things at you. People like to bash you over the head with any clinging, we can draw the dots between this and this. 4 semi-finals, you're shit. Well, we're in the final now. How important is it for them to win this? And I know that it's not the FA Cup, it's not the the Champions League or the Premier League, obviously. How important would this be to you to see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as Manchester United manager lifting that trophy at the end of May?
It'd be emotional.
Yeah.
It would. After everything that's gone on, and I know that, especially the way things are at the minute, Ole's getting a little bit of flack from some of the fans, and I understand that. But after the shit he's put up with a lot of fans who questioned him all the time along the way, after the Newcastle defeat, after the West Ham defeat, after the Burnley defeat, after the 6-1 against Spurs, you had so many people coming out of the woodwork, they're already there, going Ole out, he's not good enough, get rid of him, all this other shit, Norwegian PE teacher.
Yeah.
And to see him take us to a final and win it and lift the trophy would, for me, because there is that emotional attachment with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because he is a legend. Yeah. I don't use that word lightly, but you don't win as many games, as many trophies, score as many important goals for Manchester United as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did, and not be a legend. He is. So to see him lift that would feel different than he has done in the past. It's not the same as seeing Van Gaal lift it or
and the
Jose,
thing
although
about
Jose was emotional in Stockholm for different reasons.
Yeah.
This would be, I'd be buzzing and I'd be a bit emotional about it because he took a lot of shit. He's done a good job under very difficult circumstances, in my opinion, and he is a legend. And also, when you throw in that in as well, there's a lot of players in this team that I've got a lot of love for. Seeing Mason lift the trophy after the shit he's had. Seeing Harry Maguire after some of the grief he's had.
Bruno,
who we love, and he needs a trophy, needs a winner's medal.
He's never won a trophy, has
That's ridiculous. Player of his ability. He should have won about 50. And Marcus, I know he's won trophies in the past, but seeing Marcus lift the trophy as well because of stuff he's done on and off the pitch over the last 12 months when, he's become a hero, hasn't he, to the world. So it would be great, but Unai Emery and Villarreal aren't going to give a shit about all that. They're just going to try and beat us, and we've got to make sure we do the job. We're doing the job well.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really difficult game. That I think we sort of overlook Villarreal at our peril, really, because
you're right.
And we're as guilty of it as anyone. But your initial thought is, what next? We've won this now. What next?
Yeah.
Because this was a tough test. We think Arsenal was probably the tougher test, so therefore we'll beat Villarreal in the final. Well, they've got probably the best manager in the history of the competition playing for them, who can tailor average teams or slightly above average teams to be in tournament winning machines.
Yeah.
And we've got a team, like you said, isn't dead used to winning trophies. I know we've won a couple of trophies here and there last few years, but it's not as though we're in a final, no worries, here we go. It's going to be a tricky game. To the point about players winning the trophy and that sort of thing, Maguire, I think, would be a big one. I think he sort of gets overlooked at the moment because he's just playing really well, and I don't think there's much to worry about. I think it would be huge for him in his first full season as captain, because he took over in January.
He's never won out, has he?
No.
Like,
he took
he's
over
won promotions and shit, but he's never won a medal.
No, he hasn't. He took over from Ashley Young last January, didn't he, when he left to Inter Milan. It's his first full season as captain. He's had no end of shit, mostly toward the start of the season, admittedly. But it would be huge for him, wouldn't it? First season as captain fully, winning a trophy, that would be massive.
It would, mate. And like people almost forget the grief he was getting, after what went on in Mykonos. He's always had a bit of stick because of the price tag, which is not his fault. Then there was the stuff where he hugged John Stones, and regardless of where you feel about that, he got a lot of grief, and a lot of the fans were having
after the draw against City.
Yeah, after the draw against City, when he got his red card for England, you could see he was a man who was under pressure.
Yeah.
He was feeling it, and he does strike me as someone who can carry that around with him. Harry Maguire. He's not like a Keano type or someone who's just like, I don't give a fuck. So yeah, he's had a fantastic season as well, Harry Maguire. And I think finishing second and winning the Europa would be sort of a fair reflection of the season he's had.
Yeah.
Because he has been superb, and I think people don't want to admit that.
No.
People don't want to go, you know what, Harry Maguire's been mint this season.
No.
They'd rather go, 80 million quid, he's fucking waste of money.
Slabhead, lol.
Yeah, where actually, mate, he's played every single game almost. I think in the league anyway, he has, and I think he's missed like one in the cup. And he's been pretty much bang on in almost all of them. You can probably pick at the earlier start of the season 3 or 4 games where he wasn't himself. But he's kicked on, played well, and to see him lift that as captain, yeah, mate, that'd be fucking mint.
Yeah, we've got a super chat from Sahar Shetty. He says, and this is a good point actually, very well worth mentioning, Chelsea versus Villarreal could be the least desirable Super Cup fixture ever. Just a thought. What a shit Super Cup that is. You want it to be too big. Chelsea versus Villarreal, if Chelsea won the Champions League and Villarreal won the Europa League.
Would you say that now?
Oh no. What have you said that for?
Would you take that? If that was given there, I've got the option there. Chelsea versus Villarreal, I'm offering it you now. Right now. You can have it.
That's a fucked question, that is.
It is a fucked question.
That's really fucked
I'm
up.
horrible, I'm sorry. But don't think I hadn't already thunk of it myself.
Because that means, obviously, City have
all
lost.
all that shit I just said about all their emotions of loving in players. Forget all that, because it stopped that mob from down the road winning the Champions League.
That's a really shit question.
Do you know what?
I don't know how to answer that.
The other day, I was like,
no, we'll win it. Fuck it. Fuck City.
Yeah,
if they win the Champions League,
the other day I was like,
so be it.
Stop doing it. But now I'm like, do you know what? I want my boys to win medals. Also, I know you might have been coming to this anyway, but how mint was Edinson Cavani's getting involved with Mason was getting a bit of grief as well.
Yeah, it was good. And I like that Mason fucked off.
Man after me on that.
Cavani.
That was like me in the late 90s, that.
Scrapping outside a nightclub.
Yeah, my mates who can handle themselves come over and I'll fuck off.
Leave them 3-on-1. Cheers, Tony. Anyway, I'm going to head off, lad.
I'm going to head off. Jay.
Yeah, I want United to win a trophy. Yeah, and I'll toss the coin on City.
And I'll frame it as, we both won European trophies.
Yeah.
So we're equal.
Yeah. We both did something difficult. And who did they even beat? Oh,
I mean? And we did it by spending less money than you. So ours is, probably better. I just want us to win a trophy now. Fuck what them lot do. No one cares.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a great win for Manchester United. I say win. We lost the game, but we won the tie.
Aggregate.
We won the game 3-2 Roma. I'm sure we did.
We did, and I think you can see why Ole played a strong team as well, because it was a bit like before the game, I was on the show with Alex Baggers, and a lot of people in the comments were going, too strong this team. I don't know why he's done all this with all these games coming up. Well, he knew what he was doing, didn't he? Interesting as well, right? Because if all these games that are planned in the Premier League don't go ahead, for whatever reason, I'm not suggesting anything, we get a massive points deduction, right? That sort of they give us, right, we're not doing that again. It's fucking 20 points or whatever, 30 points. Fucking think about that, and then we win the Europa and get the Champions League anyway. That'd be mint, wouldn't it?
Oh, I'd not even thought about that.
Yeah, man.
How fucking good was that? United finish on 11 points. We're playing in the championship, and we're imagine. We can't ever have this again. We have to set a precedent. 60-point deduction.
Yeah.
We get relegated. And we're in the Championship
Europa League
and
final.
Champions League. fucking rate season next year. Imagine. Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves here. That's going to be all from us, I think. That's a good place to wrap it up. Manchester United have reached a final under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We are in the final of the Europa League, set to play Villarreal, Unai Emery's Villarreal. So that's a slightly different prospect there, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've avoided Arsenal. Arsenal remain shite.
It's good for him as well, the shit he got with that good evening nonsense.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, sorry, his English isn't as perfect as your Spanish.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Exactly. And also, a very good manager who did very well with Arsenal.
Who's better than Arteta.
Yeah.
Just like Wenger was.
Yeah,
but
just like
you're all
every
spoiled
Arsenal
brats, you can't see the wood for the trees.
Yeah.
And now you're in a worse position you've literally ever been in the Premier League. So, well done.
Fantastic. That's a great way to end it. Thank you very much for joining us. We will, of course, be covering all of the build-up to Manchester United versus Villarreal. And before that, we've got Villa on Sunday. Then Tuesday, it's Leicester. Thursday, as things stand, it's Liverpool. Who knows?
So they think.
What?
No.
Did you say it?
I said so they think.
Plenty of games coming up this week. We'll be bringing you the coverage and build up to all of those. Make sure you stick around. If you're subscribed, if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. Hit the little notification bell as well. So whenever we go live, whenever we're bringing you news, whenever we're bringing you reaction, you can see it first. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for coming down and having a chat.
It's all right,
with
this
us,
reaching finals like, innit?
It's good, innit?
Feels like I can't remember last time we did it. It feels such a relief
It's great
to be sat here saying this. So yeah, it's buzzing.
Yeah. Final coming up. We'll see you in a bit.